Welcome back to Mind and Motive, Psychology of Relationships and Human Behavior. I'm your host, Phoenix. Today we're talking about something deeply confusing and incredibly common. Why you can miss someone even when they hurt you, even when they were inconsistent, even when you know they weren't good for you. Because if you've ever said, I don't understand why I still want them. I know they treat me badly, but I miss them. My brain knows better, but my heart doesn't. This episode is for you. And I want to start with this. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're responding exactly how a human nervous system responds to attachment loss. Let me explain. First, this isn't about love. It's about attachment. Attachment theory was first developed by John Bowlby and later expanded by Mary Ainsworth. The core idea is simple but powerful. Your nervous system learns what connection feels like early in life, long before logic enters the picture. So when you bond with someone romantically, your body doesn't just see them as a person. It registers them as safety, regulation, comfort, familiarity. That means when the relationship ends, your body doesn't interpret it as this wasn't healthy. It interprets it as loss of safety, loss of connection, threat to survival. That's why breakups don't just hurt emotionally. They hit physically. Chest tightness, anxiety, restlessness, obsessive thoughts, a sense of panic or emptiness. That's your attachment system sounding the alarm. Here's the hard truth. You don't miss them because they treated you well. You miss them because your nervous system bonded to them. And once a bond forms, especially in anxious or inconsistent relationships, separation feels like withdrawal, which brings us to something important. You're not missing the person, you're missing the regulation. Let this land. You don't just miss them, you miss the routine, the emotional familiarity, having someone to text, feeling chosen, the role they played in your life. They became part of how your nervous system stayed regulated. So when they leave, your body goes into protest mode. That looks like wanting to reach out, checking their social media, replaying memories, romanticizing the good moments, ignoring the bad ones. Not because you're obsessed, but because your body wants relief. Why it's worse when they treat you poorly. Here's where people get confused. If someone was kind and loving, it makes sense to miss them. But why miss someone who was inconsistent, emotionally unavailable, or even hurtful? Because inconsistency creates stronger bonds than consistency. Let me explain. When someone gives love unpredictably, sometimes warm, sometimes distant, your nervous system starts chasing the high. That on-again, off-again energy creates emotional addiction. Your brain becomes focused on, maybe this time it'll be different. Maybe they'll finally show up. Maybe I can fix this. That's not romance. That's activation. Your nervous system learned that connection comes with uncertainty. So now it equates anxiety with love. You weren't bonded through safety. You're bonded through survival. And this is why logic doesn't work. You can tell yourself, they weren't right for me. I deserve better. They treated me badly. All true. But attachment lives in the body, not the mind. So even when your brain understands, your nervous system is still looking for the person who regulated it. This is why you can know someone's wrong for you and still crave them. Let's talk about healing, because awareness is powerful, but healing requires action. Here's where it starts. Step 1, regulate before you ruminate. When the missing begins, don't immediately analyze the relationship. First, calm your body. Try slow breathing or movement like walks, stretching, workouts, or even cold water on your face. You're teaching your nervous system, I am safe right now. Regulation comes before clarity. Step 2, break the fantasy loop. Anxious attachment doesn't just grieve the person, it grieves the potential, who they could have been, what it might have become, the future you imagine. So every time you start romanticizing, gently remind yourself, not who they could be, who they consistently were. That's the truth that heals. Step 3, learn to self-source safety. This is the big one. Healing means shifting from external regulation to internal regulation. Instead of, I feel okay when they choose me, you practice, I can feel lonely without abandoning myself. I don't need someone else to validate my worth. I am allowed to have needs. This is how secure attachment begins, with you. Here's a reframe that changes everything. You didn't miss them because they were special. You miss them because your nervous system learned to attach under uncertainty. And now you're learning something new. That connection doesn't require chasing. That love doesn't have to hurt. that consistency matters more than chemistry. Healthy love feels calm, not confusing, not addictive, not anxiety producing, calm. Final thought. If you're missing someone who treated you poorly, please hear this. You're not weak. Your body learned to survive emotional inconsistency. But survival isn't the same as love. And healing is learning that you don't have to earn connection. You deserve safety. You deserve stability. You deserve peace. If this episode resonated, share it with someone who is healing right now. And remember, you're not broken. You're becoming secure. I'll see you next time on Mind and Motive.